no, stop. I need to put this in order.
Alright YouTube, so we have here David again with the second place deck profile of Burning Abyss. He's making a few changes, but yeah.
Yeah, this is. I'll show you what it is. I'll tell you what changes I would make. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
That's Jaden Yuki, guys.
Yeah. And then if you guys want to see my deck profile, I'll play Shadal's. I can't top 8 too, but it's funny. It's any other Shadal deck. So if you guys want to see, just comment down below.
Yeah. This was a kind of an interesting BA build. Again, it is going to change, but I want to.
Yeah, this is actually the first time you see it with the new cards, right?
Yeah. So it's a little different. I will try my best to explain everything. Round 1, I played against Tellers, so I beat the Tellers. Round 2, I played against.
Was it 2-0?
Yeah, 2-0.
Uh-huh.
Round 2. Oh, sorry. Round 1, I played against X-Sabers. I totally forgot about that kid. Sorry. That guy, it was just a fun game because he's new. He hasn't played in a while, so we just had fun. Yeah, but 20 the X-Sabers, 20 the Stellarknights, tied the Qliphorts, and I lost in the Qliphorts. So I was X1-1 at that point. But I still made it to top 8, number 8. Came in round 1 of top 8. I played against Stellarknights, and then that one I 20'd.
Stellarknights, not Stellars.
Oh, sorry, Stellarknights. Totally different. See how good I am? Yeah, so Stellarknights, 20'd him, 20'd a Qliphort, and then for the last finals, I lost. I got 20'd by a Qliphort player.
Yeah, he topped the LA Regionals, last LA Regionals. Yeah, so.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had a Virgil Matt. He was really good. He was a really
nice player too. Nice player too.
Really nice guy. Yeah. By the way, if you 2-0 someone, it's called 20. So let that catch on. So yeah, I got 20.
That catch on.
So like today, I pretty much either all 20'd or I got 20, and there was no game 3 for me. Okay.
Alright, so we'll get into it.
Let's get started. Yeah. So of course you got to play 3 tour guides. You got to play super rare because they don't come common, and ultimate rares is a little too expensive for me. Get the 3 graphs, 3 Sirs, 3 Skarms. Who doesn't play this? You gotta play the 3 just to keep your engine going. 3 Rubik. I might turn it down to 2 now because I noticed myself siding out at least 1 or 2 every game 2. Before you would play just because it was the only good name. Yeah, and you want to make Virgil a lot, but now there's so many ways to flow and so many ways to get out another Rubik if you need to make another Virgil that I think 3 is too much, and you don't really want this in hand. You just want to be able to get it other ways. 3 Farfa. I really like Farfa. It's a good name to have.
So good.
There was never really a time that I was ever disappointed in drawing him or disappointed in milling him. So the only time that sucks is when you mill him and your opponent has no monsters. But I mean that happens all the time. So who cares? So that's 3 of the new guy. 2 of Libic. Libic makes a lot of really good plays because potentially, if you mess up a tour guide or if your opponent messes up your tour guide, Libic's a way out. You know, you can foolish this. You can discard it with Karma Cut or Wing Blast, and then use Libic to get out another monster. So this will fix your broken tour guide play. So essentially, it makes your opponent minus. So it's good to have them out. Sometimes, if you already procced your Sir, your Graph, this will be your 3rd, Graph or Skarm for your 3rd PA special summon. Playing 2 of Cagna for Dumper. I might cut this down to 1. You really just need the 1 in Cagna to dump out the good and evil because you don't want to draw that in hand ever. It's just so bad in the hand. And then after that, you're really pretty much just dumping Fire Lake. And there was one game when I opened with good and evil, which means I had to dump 2 Fire Lakes, which it's not the worst thing in the world, but definitely wasn't an ideal play. So for that reason, it might go down to 1. And then just 1 of Alich and Calcab. Pretty much, you're just going to bring these out for utility. So if your opponent has a back row that you're kind of afraid of, you're afraid it might be a battle trap or something like that, you can graph out a Calcab or tour guide out of Calcab and just use it for utility. Same thing goes for Alich. Alich doesn't really have much use anymore because you have Farfa. So if there's a monster with an effect that you're afraid of, you can just Farfa it and then it'll be gone and you don't have to worry about it. The only difference is, Alich is just another name 1, and then 2, sometimes you don't want it to leave and come back. You want to just negate the effect and then you want to just kill it and you clear the board. And then the 1 BLS. I'm really actually very hesitant about this anymore just because it was so hard to resolve him. I felt like everybody in the meta is so afraid of Virgil now. I'm sorry, Virgil and Dante now that anytime they see it, they'll compulse it, they'll spin it, they'll do whatever they can to get rid of it, which means you're never going to have a light target in your grave. So this one, I'm going to be a little more...
It's kind of inconsistent now.
It's kind of more consistent, yeah. It's dead more often than it's live. And even when it's live, BA you don't really need this because if you already
win
have
more.
yeah, it's a win more card exactly. If you have 2 Dantes and a Virgil or 3 Dantes, you know what's he gonna do? You know, and essentially this thing kills your engine by getting rid of one of your Dantes out of rotation.
Yeah.
So you have to. This is just for game. If you can get game with this, or if you need to get rid of a problem monster by banishing it, then you would use it. Otherwise, it's starting to lose its luster without effect veiler. So if you can run other lights in the deck, which is really hard, I would consider not putting this guy in. The wonderful one-ofs.
Snaps.
This isn't a one-of, but Allure, just to make less dead. Foolish is basically
Anything.
a free any effect. Good and Evil, you really just use this for the extra effect because you can set up plays with this. This is a great combo piece. It's really vital for the secondary effect, obviously. There's no Malcode in this build, as you can already notice. So if you can get this out with Kaigna or by a Dante mill, it's great. If you draw into it, it's terrible. So play this one with caution. I'm still playing around with it as well, so 9%. Regeki and Snatch Seal, MVPs of the game, especially against Qliphorts and Tellers, you know how they span the field. If you can get one of their guys or if you can kill their board, you know, that's when you push your game. That's, you know, especially with BA spamming the board, it's pretty simple to do. So vital, very important to play those cards. Might even consider Dark Hole one day. I don't know. And then the 3 MST, because the only thing that beats your back row is their back row. So you really got to kill those scouts, kill those Stellarknight Novas, Alphas, whatever they're called. For the trap lineup, I got 3 Fire Lakes. Fire Lake is starting to become more and more hard to resolve, and I'm pretty sure you've seen a couple more builds that have been topping lately are not playing traps at all. So Fire Lake, I would probably cut down to 2 or maybe even 1. Fire Lake is great, you do get the 3 for 3, but the way the meta's working right now, they don't really ever have 3, you know? Especially cards like Shadal or decks like Shadal or Qliphorts, they start with nothing, the empty field, and then
Night Beam in it, right?
and then somehow, yeah, exactly. They MST the Night Beam, they bait it out, and once they get it out, they set up their whole. All of a sudden, they went from an empty field to like 3 monsters and a couple back row, and this was useless the whole time. This was just sitting waiting to be used, and this is just too much gambling. Moving on with the trap lineup, I've got 2 Espacio de Negación and 1 El Vacío de Vanidad, or in English, Vanity's Emptiness. I have 2 French and 1 Spanish. Don't ask me why. I'm really glad that no one asked me for translations today, because if they did, I probably would have gotten game loss. I would have been like, Dennis, you have a Vanity's Emptiness really quick. Come on, man. Come on, help me out. But thank goodness everybody knows what this card does, because everybody plays 3 of this. I don't care what deck you are. You could be playing Infernoids and still play 3 of these. You know, this is too good right now. I'm considering playing just 2. Cut out the Spanish one, just have 2 French, simply just because
Racist.
I always, well, I mean, I hablo español better than I probably do francais, but I always set it out just because this does end up stalling me more than it stalls just as equal as much as I stall my opponent, and because when this is up, I don't get my SIRs and my graphs, I end up not really being able to plus, and it forces me into the top deck battle, which if you're really BA, you know, it's really 50-50. It's very, you know, close. I could get that tour guide and win. Well, actually, with this up, tour guide doesn't make a difference. I take that back. I have a really bad tour guide top deck matchup with this up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, in that case, not the best to have all the time. But obviously, if you open it against certain decks, it's great.
After setting up, you just
Yeah, exactly. If I'm already set up, then it's great. It's very circumstantial. For my discard trap out lineup, and this is probably the most controversial one. Playing 3 and 2, I'm starting to realize that this is, you know, not as great just because the deck is just so much more turbo nowadays, and we're just so, you know, special Dante, that we very, very rarely have a Burning Abyss in hand, which means that this does end up making you minus, because sometimes you'll be stuck with just that A-Lich or that Calcab in your hand, and that doesn't really make your opponent minus, so essentially you are
still minus.
You're still losing out to
you're not throwing away your SIRs and graphs anymore. You're throwing away like
exactly. You're throwing away your
stuff that you could have made with Dante.
Yeah, your Farfars and your stuff like that. The stuff that doesn't really clear them. The stuff that just interrupts their plays, their turn. Karma Cut is still good for obvious reasons, just because banishing is better than just destruction. But like I said, you know, I remember one of my games I had to discard a BLS for Karma Cut, and that's not what you want to do, but it was my only play. It was either that or lose that turn. And then the 3 Wing Blast. I still do have some love for Wing Blast, simply because you do make your opponent go back a turn. But that's if you get them in that battle. If you ever catch your opponent set 1 end turn, that's your cue to use this. And if you can get that off it's even worth throwing away like an MST or worth throwing away a good card to do that, because you may set yourself back one hand, you set them back a whole turn, so that's really great. But again, still might want to play with the ratios and lessen it. And then another MVP of the game is Compulse. A lot of people haven't been playing this card as much. I know I haven't, but I brought it back today and it does a lot of work, simply just because, like I said, Destruction Design is great, and this is basically a Wing Blast without the discard, the cost. So I feel silly for not having main deck this before, but yeah, now that it's back, I love it. Compulse works against every deck's boss monsters, so please bring it out. Alright, moving on to the extra deck. 3 Dante, 2 Virgil, duh, come on. I would play 5 Dante if I could.
You actually ran out with Dante's one time.
Yeah, you always run out of Dante's. So.
Because 2 are banished, and he was like, oh shit, I messed up. I'm missing one. 2
Downards, just to protect your Dante's. I would run 3 if my extra deck wasn't so tight, and you'll see why it's so tight. 2 Acid Golems. Now you're thinking, why would you need 2? Because if one dies, you need the second one. Because I don't know how many times I've run into the problem where my opponent plays Yazi. It's a Yang Zing or it's a Shaddolls that brings out Yazi, and I make the first one, and they do something with it. They always do something to the first one. I don't care what it is, it's gone. And then I lose the game. I'm not just going to scoop, because I got a second one. So that's why you play 2. Same explanation for Nightmare Shark. People think this is overkill. Dennis thinks this is overkill for sure. Dennis's explanation.
I like 2 double.
You do like 2 of them?
Yeah.
When I first showed it, he didn't always think this felt kill this way.
You said 3 Nightmare Shark, and now that's
overkill. I would run 4 as OTK or whatever. But the explanation is the same thing for Nightmare Shark. You need to go for game. You need to go for game. Because especially since this deck can make rank 3 so easily, it's not always gonna be game over. So most people say only make a Nightmare Shark if you know you can win. But sometimes you got, especially with BA, we can only solve for so long. You gotta make that final push somehow, get on the offensive. 1 Alucard, I might bring back a second one, because Alucard is just really great for carrying back row. And since this deck essentially just loses to back row, I might want to bring out a second one, just to be able to get out more. And plus, not to mention, like, Alucard really has 2 effects, dual effects, because the card that you're gonna be discarding is like 9 times out of 10 gonna be a BA card. If you don't think it's maybe a card, you're not playing your deck right. So if you discard a Cow Cab or discard a Farfa, you essentially clear your opponent's field and you're just free to attack and free to go off that turn. But again, I'm very hesitant about making anything that's not Dante anyways, so this is obviously all circumstantial. This is for Qliphorts, this is for OTK, and then this is... and this is if you're in big trouble. If you somehow, for some reason or other, got rid of your tour guides way too early, and you know that you can't win this game without it, you need to recycle your tour guides. This is how you do it. So that's my extra deck. I'm not 100% happy with this deck, extra deck. The only thing I am 100%
Tri-Edge?
Maybe Tri-Edge, maybe 10 Tempo to make your opponent lose just against Constellars, you make them lose material, especially that damn diamond. If it has no materials, then it's useless, and once it's useless, I win. But yeah, for sure, this is the only thing that I can say for certainty. Keep this. Everything else, I don't know. I don't know. You're only going to be playing those 5 cards anyways most of the time. And then last but not least, side deck. The 2 Flying Seas and Ojama Trio for the BA matchup. Mirror. Lucky I didn't have to run to the mirror. What is the reason for this? Is because it's essentially running 3 Flying Sea. Hopefully you open with one of these, and then this is the one that you draw into later on. Ojama Trio is really good, but not really good opening. And then these are really good opening. If I had more room, maybe I'd run 3 and 2 or something like that, but this is just my ratio just because the extra deck is really hard, because there's so much variety in the meta these days. I feel like you can't, you can't really put sides against everything. So this is my BA side. And then the rest of my side is a little old-fashioned. You might recognize this. Anybody recognize that? Nobody's playing this anymore, but back in the day, remember when these were good? Remember when you would steal a Constellar or steal a Dante and then sack it? Yeah, I miss those days. These didn't really put in much work. I'll tell you that much. This stole a couple Constellar stuff. These guys didn't really come out. They didn't really show up to play.
Tellers. Not Constellars.
Oh, sorry. Tellers, sorry. This was for Qliphorts. Everybody knows why this is against Qliphorts, and this is just in case the OTK push, you're scared. You see them pendulum all of them, you think, oh no, they're gonna win. Anytime you can always stop to do math, use your calculator, add up all the things. If it adds up to 8,000 or whatever your life points are, flip this over, okay? Other than that, don't flip this over. Only flip this over if you're gonna die. Because obviously, Torrential is risky to throw. But you need to stop them, bring them out. Book of Moon, I don't know. Dennis told me to put in here. Again, I didn't really know what it was for. I don't know. I just never decided in. I never decided in. I never got to put it in the sleeve. This is just. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that Book of Moon is bad. Book of Moon is a good card, but I just don't know what for. And then for Shaddoll's, you get the 2 non-fusion areas. Today was really weird. I don't think it was a proper meta
Today
day.
was
It was only like one Shaddoll's,
which is me.
and it was Dennis. I didn't play him, luckily, because every time I play against Dennis against the Shaddall deck, I lose. But
and 2 BAs is David and Bowie, and then like half Qliphort and half Stellarknight.
yeah.
It was pretty weird.
And then there's just a couple rogue decks, So, Dennis got lucky. He played a couple of monster sack.
No.
Paper mat kids with paper mats, kids that just bought a booster pack or bought a starter deck and started playing that day. Did you explain to them how main phase 2 worked and everything? Yeah, right.
I said we lost.
Yeah, so that's my side deck. Again, my side deck is not certain. The only thing I can say with certainty is like this stuff. Everything else is like, I don't know. Oh, and the fairy winds. Everything else in the extra deck.
You feel like
side
you
deck
needed
is
more
like
8 for Qliphorts, or I think it was enough? Triple MST, triple pyramid.
No, that's enough. It was just a matter of having it, I don't know how many times this happened to you, but this happens to me a lot. Scout, flip fairy wind, cool. Summoner's Art.
Yeah.
Summoner's Art to the other scout, you're like, oh well, I guess I just whatever. I help them thin out the deck a little bit. So it really hurts. You can't really beat Scout until they semi or limit that thing, which they will eventually.
What'd you change out your main?
What is in my main? Take out a couple of more little monsters. I think maybe just one Cagna. And again, I'm still playing on with BA ratios, and Good and Evil is still kind of like really sacky. If you have it and you have the Sir Graphing Hand, it's gold. But if you have it and you only have like a Rubik, it's not gold. So it's very circumstantial. I don't like playing risky. Oh, what am I saying? I do love playing risky, so I probably am gonna keep it in. These guys are I'm gonna have to consider these guys.
Go trapless.
Maybe go trap. Not trapless. I still love traps. So it would just be a matter of taking a couple things out. A lot of 3-of traps don't really need to be 3-ofs. The only thing you really need 3-ofs in this deck, in your main deck, I can say with certainty, Sir Scarm, Graph, Tour Guide. Everything else you can consider playing 2. It's pretty much your own personal preference. Some people don't like farfling. There are a lot of times I farfed when I didn't want to farfel. It was just like, well, I'm not gonna not farfel. So look for changes to come. Dennis and I are getting ready for YCS Vegas. Is it YCS or regional?
Oh, actually, we gotta make an update video.
Las Vegas regional.
We're not going to Seattle anymore, guys. We're gonna go to Vegas instead. So that's gonna be Vegas is gonna be on the 9th, and Seattle's gonna be on the 14th. Yeah. So we just went back a date.
A week.
A week. There's still my friends. Some of my friends still going to Seattle, so good luck to them.
Yes, but
I'll probably get an update video for that.
Yeah, Johnny and Jonathan are gonna be there. We're hopefully gonna run SEMO and he's gonna show us around.
Yeah, well, we'll be gonna update video for Vegas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it for his video. Let me know you'll make my video down below. Probably don't, because it's probably whatever video.
It was X2.
Yeah, I was X1. I was higher than you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he was 7.
8th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came in 5th. He came in 8th.
You guys probably want to watch that video.
Yeah, and then David made a pretty good explanation about all his cards, and let us know if you have any other questions. I'm pretty sure
if you have any questions, definitely let me know. And just let you know, I know you guys saw some comments. People were saying, "Oh, you need to update your BA stuff because like the whole deck is like quadrupled, And I'm waiting for the last set. So when the last BA support comes out, I'm gonna make a BA revisited, and hopefully teach you guys all the new stuff there. Because by then, hopefully, I hope it'll be done by then. Because I can't keep buying these cards.
Because in our first video was we said BAs were. Because rank up magic or you lose, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now like, we so like evolved.
Now, the deck has evolved so much. It's changed with Virgil. It's changed with Good and Evil and Malkoda. So look out for the next final one. I hope it's the final one.
Yeah.
It should be the final one. If it has more than 12 monsters, it's not fair, guys.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty much it, and we'll see you next video. YouTube. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.